Welcome back to our series of solution and explanation to competitive coding. Today we are going to solve LeetCode question number 1103, that is distribute candies to people. Okay, so let me read the question first. The question says that we distribute some number of candies to row of n equals num peoples in the following way. So there are some random number of candies, and we have to distribute them to n peoples, and they are something like standing in a row, and we have some rules to distribute these candies. So when we then give one candy to the first person, two candies to the second person, and so on until we give n candy to the last person. Okay, so we are like giving one candy to the first person, two candies to second, three to third, and so on, and until we give n candy to nth person, like the last person. Okay, then we go back to the start of the row, giving n plus 1 candies to the first person, n plus 2 candies to the second person, and so on until we give 2 times n candies to the last person. So okay, so we when we finish the entire row of people, giving them candies, incrementing by 1, we then loop back to the first person and give n plus 1, that is the number of people, plus 1 time candies to the first person again, and we then keep on incrementing like before, each time when we are giving the candies, until we reach again to the last of the row and give n 2 times n candies to the, like by incrementing each time 1, 2 times n candies to the last person again. This process repeats until with us giving one more candy each time and moving to the start of the row after we reach the end. Okay, so this process keeps on repeating until we ran out of candies. Okay, so this process we start distributing from the first person, and each time by incrementing one candy, giving to the next person, and this process keeps on looping, keeps on repeating until we ran out of candies. The last person will receive all of our candies, not necessarily one more than the previous gift. Okay, so the last candidate will get all of our candies, and it might be the case that it won't be the one more than the what we have given to the previous candidate, because if we ran out of candies, it should be like suppose we are left with two candies and we have like fifth candidate, so it should get like five candies, but we have only two candies left, so we have to unfortunately give him two candies only. Okay, so return an array of length num people and some candies that represents the final distribution of candies. Okay, so we have to return some array of num people size array, and that will have the sum of number of candies to that people get. Okay, and represent the final. Okay, so that it should represent the final distribution. So initially we should create some array, like a result array of size num people. So suppose our array is new int, and it should be equal to num peoples. Okay, num people. Okay, so this should be our initial array. Okay, I hope so. This is not the case. Control Z. Okay, int some result array, and new int is using this one, and num people. Okay, so this is our initial array, and okay, so let me see what the example. Okay, so suppose this is example, that is number of candies equals 7 and number of peoples are 4. So we give 1 to first candidate, now we are, and 2 to second, 3 to third, and now we are left with 1 candy, so we can only give 1 candy to the fourth candidate, and in this case we have 10 candies and 3 peoples. So we give 1 to first candidate, 2 to second, 3 to third, and we are left with 4 candies. So we loop over to the first person and give 4 candies to him. So he has like 5 candies, and these remaining to have like 2 and 3 candies. So suppose these examples are like this. Suppose this is our like second example. If this is our first example, so initially we give 1 candy to the first candidate, and now we are left with like 6 candies, and 2 candies to second candidate, and we are left with now 4 candies, and like 3 candies to third candidate. So we are now left with 1 candy, and we can ultimately unfortunately give 1 candy to him. So our final that is resultant array number of candies would be like the sum of number of candies will be 1, 2, 3, and 1, and this is what we have to submit as our output. Okay, as our this should be our output. But for this case, we give 1 candy to the first candidate. Now we are left with 9 candies, and now we give 2 candies to the second candidate, and we are left with 7 candies. And we give 3 candies to third candidate. Now we are left with 4 candies. Now I have to loop back and increment 2 candies by whatever we have given to the last candidate. So we will give the first candidate 4 candies. Now we are left with 0 candies. So now our resultant array would be this candidate would get some of these candies, that is 5 candies, and this candidate will get 2 candies, and this candidate will get 3 candies. Okay, so this is our output array. Okay, this we have to return. So let me code this. Okay, so initially we have created our array of integers, and now we can do is we have to iterate over this array to fill the number of candies inside it. So we have to do some kind of loop. Suppose we are using while loop, so in int suppose something I, initially it is 0, and some kind of loop. We have to keep record of number of loops we have made. Okay, so number of loops, initially it is 0. Okay, so while our candies, number of candies like CA while the candies are greater than 0, then we can do is, okay, so we can do is that we can distribute our candies to candidate, that is suppose our resultant of I. Okay, so our resultant of I should get those candies. Okay, so but how much candies? So first we should calculate the number of candies. So suppose current candy, int cu current candies, and it should be like okay, so it should be initially I plus 1, but when, okay, this case is okay, but when we loop back, so we have to take care of that too. So we can do is that we can say number of loop times, loop time, number of candidates, num people. Okay, so this will take like in our first iteration it would be like num people would be 3, and loop is like 1, because when we reach the end of the loop, our loop will become 1, and our candidate would get like 3 times 1 and plus 1, that is 4 candies, like in this case we have seen in our graphical solution. Okay, so we have taken and then plus, we can do plus. Let me put this one into bracket again. Okay, so this is our current candidate. So our current candidate should get this number of candies. So plus equals result of 5 plus equals current candies. You are current candies, and okay. So this is the one case, but suppose for this case, like we have less number of candies, so we have to put some kind of conditions, that is if our like candies minus current candy, current candies, then like if they are less than 0, so we have to give all the candies to our candidate. So we have to do result of I should get all the candies, that is not current candies, that is simply candies. And okay, else, in the else part we have to put this one, else we can put this one, like our result of I should get these candies, current candies. Okay, so each time we did this, we have to increment our I, because we have to move to the next candidate and decrement our candies. Candies minus equals current candies. Okay, so yeah, but we didn't take care of our looping and I variance. So suppose we reach the end of the loop, that is if our I will become not equals num of people, then we have to make our I. So suppose in this case our people is 3, and our I start iterating over from 0 to 1 to 2, and when it will become 3, that is we don't have fourth candidate, so we have to make it like again 0 to loop back to the first candidate. So what we have to do is make our I equals we'll set our I equals 0, and we'll increment our loop for 1 times. Okay, our loop plus plus. Now we can, I suppose we can return our array. Okay, so return result. Okay, so I hope everything should work fine. Okay, so let me submit that code to see if it works or not. First we run the code to check for typos. Okay, it did work, and now let me submit a code to see if it works for every solution, every question, or every test case or not. But this is a like simply explanatory type of solution, and it is like 95% faster than other. Okay, so this question has like only 4 lines of solution. You have to try for that, but for explanation purpose, I have made it so lengthy. You can do it with for loop and modulo kind of things and make it better. So comment down below if you have better approach or better solution, or if you can make it like a smaller solution with the same time and space complexity. And as always, thanks for watching.